welcome back everyone. I apologize for the bit of hiatus that I've been on. I spent the last 2 weeks moving, and not just moving, but moving during a pandemic, in the middle of winter, in the middle of a snowstorm, into a new province where they don't speak English. So it's been a bit of an adventure. So we've had to take a bit of a pause on things, but I'm back at it now. And I'm here with another reaction for you. I tried to do snakes on a plane.
I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
But the only takeaway that I had from that entire movie was don't bring a snake on a plane, and I would also microwave a snake if it was on a plane. So there you have it. That is my full reaction to snakes on a plane. So today, Final Destination. Yes, the first one does take place with a plane. Let's start with that.
Gate 46. Anyone seen Billy Hitchcock? How do we lose him?
21, 22, 23.
So a couple things. One, they are obviously in an air terminal where that gate has been designated volet air because it's like inscribed in the glass, but that just doesn't happen. Two, volet, I think they wanted a different word. Volet is stolen, so stolen air? Cool.
Go. 25, 26.
Also, just a really quick note, I absolutely hated it when we had school groups on board. 1 out of 100 would be the most amazing, beautiful, best children in the world, but for the most part, they were awful. Weather-related things. If lightning is that close to the airport has to shut down until the lightning has moved away. It isn't safe for the ground staff. If it's within 3 miles, I believe, it has to completely cease operations. So we have to stop boarding. So all that to say, they would not be boarding if the storm was that close.
That's a good sign. Younger the better. Be a fucked up god to take down this plane. A really fucked up god.
The area that they walked into was really big, and I know a lot of times they make plane sets to be just a little bit bigger than they are in real life. That's fine. The oxygen bottles like that you saw, I'm not sure if in the year 2000 those were still allowed. They are definitely not allowed on board now because they can be projectiles. Very combustible, highly flammable, so they're too dangerous, especially to transport internationally. If it were to be transported domestically, it would need to be properly restrained underneath the seat in front. All of that to say, that wouldn't happen.
Alex, could you trade seats with Blake so she and I could sit together? She asked Todd, but he said he had some sort of medical thing. Please?
Yeah.
You're so sweet. Thanks, Alex. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Did you, really think we're gonna titty fuck him over Greenland?
You know, because of you, I gotta sit here and watch fucking Stuart Little.
Okay, so actually I'm just gonna keep watching and see if he fixes it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. That's great.
I'm sorry I'm late.
He does not. So that is a no-go item. If your table tray is broken, we can't actually leave with that seat occupied. And if that seat were on the aisle, none of the seats beside it could be occupied either. It would block the path of exit. If that actually happened on a plane, we would have to bring maintenance on, we'd have to fix that, or that seat would have to be vacant for the entire flight, and that would be a no-go item for that seat.
Hello?
I love that they're showing the flight attendants just in the cabin during boarding. That is what happens. We are supposed to be in the cabin during boarding to help. Unfortunately, on smaller airplanes with one aisle, it gets very difficult and you constantly find yourself in the way. So you generally kind of hang back and just wait until you're sort of needed. Also, during boarding, we're supposed to be talking to any passengers who have special assistance requests. So if you're traveling with an infant, if you're traveling with someone who needs help, if you have a severe allergy and it's been manifested, we have to come in and check in with you.
Don't fly the flat person into the buckle. The long purpose separation. Wait for the fix emergency access to doors and traffic over the wing to the aircraft. All others remarks are ready with exercise. Public lighting is mile away.
Flight attendants prepare for departure.
It's really interesting. They're getting a lot of the little details really right, but they're also getting a lot of little details really wrong. Like, you wouldn't just close the door before the announcement saying prepare for departure. Then they go on to show prepare for departure and they're locking everything into place, which is exactly what we do when we prepare for departure. We would walk through the cabin, make sure all of your items are stowed, walk through our galley, make sure all of our items are stowed, close the flight deck door, make sure they're all tucked in and ready to go, and then close the airport door and get started with our safety demonstration. Which apparently they just don't do here.
Attention! Notre voyage commence!
There is a special place in hell for people who yell throughout the whole cabin. I can almost guarantee you they haven't booked the entire plane. In fact, obviously they didn't. They showed the other passengers. I have a special hatred for that man right now.
All right.
That's great. So they're showing the turbulence and they're showing everyone really uncomfortable, and they pan over to the flight attendants and the flight attendants are just sitting there smiling, and the guy goes, "Don't worry, it's okay." That's exactly what we do.
It's okay, honey.
So at this point, things are falling out of the bins. There's obviously an electrical problem because all of the lights are flickering. And when you do see the flight attendants' faces, they're definitely less okay with it. And yes, I mean, if it's really bad, you'll be able to tell that we know it's really bad. The reason that we do tell you that it's okay is that we don't want to have to deal with panicked people. It's much easier to get a group of people to listen to you if you haven't riled them up. That's not really what you want. They've added like every possible special effect, like just like the blood everywhere, the fireballs. I mean, obviously this is a bad flight. That's not what you want.
Alex? Could you trade get seats with Blake so she...
It was all a dream!
What's up, dude?
Is there a problem, sir?
What's your fucking problem?
Alex, qu'est-ce que c'est?
I do like how they're showing the flight attendant coming over. Like, if someone is sweating, panting, running, jumping, yes, we will absolutely come over and we will ask you, is there a problem?
Because you didn't fucking plane's gonna explode! Shut up, Brownie.
You're so not funny.
This is your idea of a joke. We tolerate
It's not a joke! It's not a joke! Alex, take it easy.
This is bang on. His stance with his hands up, but he's standing back and he's maintaining a calm composure. You want to create space in front of you to make sure that you have room to move back, but you also want to maintain a very calm demeanor, which he's doing. People do get excited and sometimes they make wild and radical calls, and this happens. Again, this is on the ground still, so they're still able to deal with it. You want to try and de-escalate the situation, which is what they're trying to do.
Sit down, Brownie.
It's going down.
We will remove you from this aircraft.
Oh, he's taking it up a notch. Okay. Usually we try and do a little bit more verbalization with them. If they become combative or they are still having issues like he is, we're not going to take you. If this is you, we're not taking you on the plane. And then the pilot jumps in. The guy with the little epaulets on. Yeah, no. The pilot's job is to fly the plane. The pilot's not going to tackle anybody. How the pilot got up there that quickly is beyond me. We also just don't try to ever tackle people or hold people. If you are unruly on our plane, we try to deal with you without touching you as much as possible.
You're not supposed to just stay where you are. Just sit tight.
Go check him out, see how he's doing.
Okay.
There would also still be a flight attendant there, just trying to figure out what's happening. Does anyone know this person? What's going on? Because we have to write a report on our end. We still want to try and get out as close to on time as possible once the unsafe passenger has been removed.
You got this? No one.
This is wild. He like pushes the girl out of the way. The pilot's there. The other two flight attendants. Also, the other two flight attendants have now come up to the boarding area. You are not permitted to leave the aircraft during active times. Once there's a certain number of people on board, there has to be one flight attendant for X number of passengers in order to maintain the safety of the aircraft on the ground. They would never have come up. They would have gotten him off the plane, but the flight attendants would have been on the aircraft, making sure the aircraft was still safe.
No one gets back on board. That's my call.
Wait, please. I've got.
Also, I know it's like a tiny detail, but the pilot, his epaulette, that's the little patch on his shoulder, it only has one stripe. In order to be a captain, you need 4 stripes, and in order to be a first officer, you need 3 stripes. So I don't know what this guy's doing.
40 students going to Paris, please.
Look, you must understand my position.
I understand your position, and I apologize for Alex. But one of us needs to be on that plane. I cannot let all those students go to Paris.
There's no way they would just like willy-nilly have people come on and off. Like they would have to have everyone's name and information to file the report because now the manifest is incomplete. They'd have to offload all of those people and all of their baggage. There's so much minutia and like administrative work that goes into removing someone off of a plane. That's why whenever there is stuff on the ground, we try and deal with it as calmly and as quickly and civilly as possible, because the last thing we want is to see our faces on a video with some passenger who's trying to shame us, but also there's so much legality around air travel. It's so restricted. Our roles in any sort of passenger event where they're unruly are so defined. I like that they went into so much small detail for the opening sequence of this movie, but like nothing was right. But it's Final Destination, and I mean, movie quality in the 2000s, not the best, so let's give them a pass. Good movie? No. Fun movie? No. Why did I watch it so many times as a kid? I have no idea. Thank you so much for joining me again with the airline reactions. I really enjoy doing this. It is so much fun. I'm really looking forward to getting my shooting space all set up. If you have questions about what life as a flight attendant is like, please leave them in the comments. And if you haven't already, what are you doing? Subscribe, and then tell your next door neighbor to subscribe as well. And then get like your whole town to subscribe, and then we'll just have a really big party. What do you say? Yeah? 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 Until next time, fly safe, folks.